Harvard fought back with the lawsuit. 29th, the judge issues a preliminary injunction from the bench. I reported on it here on the MeidasTouch Network. She said, you guys, you lawyers, you work on the actual order. Instead of working on the order to put the preliminary injunction, which was issued from the bench, into writing, Donald Trump's lawyers got together with Donald Trump and said, let's go after them another way. Let's issue a proclamation. So on the 4th of June, instead of working on the preliminary injunction, we got the proclamation from Donald Trump, which says that the admission into the United States to attend, conduct research, or teach at our nation's institutions of higher education is a privilege, not a guarantee. That privilege is necessarily tied to the host institution's compliance and commitment to following federal law. Harvard University has failed in this respect, among others. It just targets Harvard University. And then it says that they're letting in too many Chinese and they've taken too much money from the Chinese. You know who's taken a lot of money from the Chinese over the last few years, including the last year or two? Donald Trump, through meme coins and cryptocurrency. I'm going to do a whole separate hot take comparing the amount of money the Trump family has made off the Chinese versus the $150 million amount that's listed here over 10 years that Harvard brought in from Chinese investment. Okay, now we move on to the breaking news. So late yesterday, they wanted to bring on the Harvard side to the attention of the judge that Trump had violated effectively her temporary restraining order, wasn't playing nice in the sandbox about working on the preliminary injunction language, and that he had now violated again her order with this new proclamation. So they did two things. They filed an amended complaint. I'm going to post all this on the Legal AF Substack for you. They filed an amended complaint, which was exactly the same as the prior pleading, except now it added the provision about what Donald Trump did on the 4th of June. They filed at the same time a motion for a temporary restraining order and asked the judge to also grant that and extend her preliminary injunction until the 20th of June to give them more time to get that order in place. And we have the judge's order granting Harvard's second request for a temporary restraining order to block the June 4th proclamation and to keep Harvard in the game of having international students. Let me read to you from the motion for temporary restraining order. After they go through all the dates that are relevant, the milestone dates in the case, they say on the bottom of page 1, yet on June 4th, President Trump issued a proclamation titled Enhancing National Security by Addressing Risks at Harvard University. Is there any question that Harvard was targeted by itself in this proclamation? That immediately suspends entry of foreign nationals who enter or attempt to enter the United States to begin to attend Harvard, directs the Secretary of State to consider whether to revoke the visas of current Harvard students and scholars, and directs the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the Secretary of Homeland Security to consider limiting Harvard's ability to participate in various exchange and visa programs.
Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the MeidasTouch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popak's new law firm. It's called the Popak Firm. Michael Popak's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Meidas Mighty and legal AFers who are approaching Michael Popak with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popak was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popak Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popak's firm is free. Give him a call. See if you have a case. It's thepopakfirm.com, thepopakfirm.com, or you can call 877-POPOK-AF, P-O-P-O-K-A-F. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popak a call. And I'm really proud of you, Popak. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in.
The motion continues on page 2, just like the revocation notice that came before it. This new proclamation is retaliation. Retaliation discriminates based on viewpoint. That's a First Amendment violation, and otherwise violates the First Amendment. It also is unlawful under the statutory authorities on which it relies, violates the Equal Protection Clause, and is an end run around this court's temporary restraining order. If not enjoined, the proclamation will result in immediate, irreversible and ongoing harm to plaintiff and its students. Effective immediately, the thousands of international students scheduled to come to campus for summer and fall terms are barred from entering the U.S. This is the devastating impact of this proclamation on Harvard. Approximately a quarter of Harvard's current student body is at imminent risk of having their visas revoked and becoming subject to deportation. The loss of Harvard's international students and scholars, present and future, and their trust and faith in Harvard's ability to host visa holders will have an irreversible impact on the university's reputation and status as a preeminent institution of learning. Immediate relief is necessary. So they seek that relief, and Judge Burroughs has, in record time, issued an order granting plaintiffs' motion for temporary restraining order. She directed at the June 4th proclamation that I just read to you from parts of. Here's her ruling. Accordingly, defendants, that's the Trump administration, their agents, and anyone acting in concert or participation with defendants are hereby enjoined from implementing, instituting, maintaining, enforcing, or giving force or effect to the presidential proclamation. This TRO shall become effective immediately. It shall remain in effect until further order of the court. She also extended the original preliminary injunction until June 20th, exactly what Harvard asked for, or such earlier time as the preliminary injunction order can be issued. If Trump keeps screwing around with the drafting of the document of the preliminary injunction, the judge is just going to do it herself between now and June 20th. And I expect the Trump administration to keep jerking around with the order. Now, what does this all mean? Why is this all important? It's not just about Harvard. I didn't go to Harvard, okay? I went to another school in the South. We used to joke that we were the Harvard of the South, or Harvard was the Duke of the North, or whatever it was. It's not about Harvard. It's about our way of life. It's about our patriotic duty to make sure that we wake up in the morning in a country, in a morning in America. We wake up and our leading institutions of higher education are allowed to do their job. And that liberal education, just because it has the word liberal in it, and liberal arts isn't being unfairly attacked and removed and cut out by MAGA. If MAGA had its way, having gone through 100 years of liberal college education, they would fire all the faculty and they would replace them with MAGA people who are pragmatic followers of Donald Trump. We see it already. Harvard can't lie down, because if they lie down, it will just embolden Donald Trump and his followers beyond Donald Trump, because Donald Trump will be out of office one day, hopefully soon. But his replacement will follow in his footsteps on the MAGA side. So Harvard has to fight for us, not just for Harvard. Sure, I want them to, whatever their DNA is, I want it preserved. But they have to fight for us, because we want to wake up in America where universities and faculty are free to teach the way they want. And if you don't like it as a student or a parent, then put your kid in another school. There's plenty of right-wing schools out there. Many of the Catholic schools, the Christian right schools, the Baptist schools, the Mormon schools, go to them if you don't like what you're being taught. But if you're like me and you think there's value in having a diverse student population and having a diverse curriculum to learn not just the great works, but to learn other types of theory, and that makes you a better person, and you shouldn't be scared of that, then join with me to defend Harvard. That's why these law firms are joining together. Some were representing Donald Trump. They are now opposed to him, because we have to all be. All free-thinking people have to be. Donald Trump took on Harvard for a reason. It's not the false flag of they're not good on anti-Semitism. I'd like all schools to be good on anti-Semitism, but that's not what this is about. That's just a false flag. What this is really about is Donald Trump going after the biggest, oldest university in the country and making them bend the knee. And you see the chilling effect around the country. Other universities, University of Michigan and different places, they're already bowing down to Donald Trump, letting him take over on faculty, letting him take over on curriculum. University of Florida just fired a guy, Santa Ono, who's going to lead their university into the future because he once supported DEI, and DeSantis got his grubby hands on him. This is happening around America. Harvard must survive.